In this video, we will discuss the process of cleaning and decarbonizing old pistons for use in an engine overhaul. The product we will use is called Spray 9. It is a general purpose cleaner and can be found in many different stores. Over the years, we have tested many different products such as carburetor cleaners, seafoam, brake cleaner, and different solvents, but none of them performs the task of removing baked-on carbon and cooked oil deposits like Spray 9 does. Place the piston into a shallow tray container and fill with the full-strength solution until you have covered the ringlands. The longer you allow it to soak, the more effortlessly the carbon will melt off. Typically, we like to leave the pistons to soak overnight. As you can see here, the solution is already loosening the baked-on deposits on this old Pontiac 350 piston. Watch carefully, and you can actually see this amazing detergent in action. Very soon, the stains of 100,000 miles of hard use will literally melt away before your very eyes. Here we are, just a few hours later, and with just a light agitation with a soft bristle brush, these piston domes will be looking brand new. As we stated before, the longer you leave them to soak, the easier those deposits will melt away. This solution does not seem to be corrosive, and in our experience, it does not appear to attack aluminum. But it is advisable that you keep an occasional eye on them if you are going to leave them longer than an overnight soak, because it can slightly discolor the metal if you allow it to work for too long. Now that those nasty deposits have been mostly expunged, we can move ahead with removing the piston rings. This process works especially well if your old crusty pistons have stuck rings, because after this soak, they will pop right out of those ringlands, and then you can whip them right off of those old slugs. A ring expander will make quick work of this job, but if you are poor and don't have one of these fancy tools, your fingers can be used to accomplish the job just the same. Now that the rings have been completely removed, we can carry out a final brush down of the pistons and then rinse them off with clean water. Just watch as those filthy stains go down the drain. As you can see here, with just a few hours and minimal effort, you too can renew those worn-out, crusty old pistons so you can sell them on eBay as new old stock. Or if you're cheap like me, you can hang some new cast iron rings on them and slap them right back in your engine. A few more hours of soaking would have removed all of the baked-on deposits, but even the specks you see here are softened and can be easily scraped off with a razor. It's highly recommended that you spray your pistons down with a water-displacing compound, such as WD-40, after rinsing them with water, because you don't want rust to form on the wrist pins. We will now continue on with the cleaning and disassembly of the other 7 pistons. The process is the same as the first one, so I am sure you don't want to watch it. The final part of our piston overhauling journey will be to scrape out the ringlands. The Spray 9 soak will have softened all the grungy deposits, but you still need to physically get them out. Since even I am not cheap enough to reuse old piston rings, I have broken one of them in half. We can then use it as a tool to carefully scrape around the circumference of the 2 top lands. Be careful not to gouge too hard, because that jagged ring is sharp. Just a gentle sweep is all that will be needed to scoop out the grunge. Here we can see just how crusty these pistons were before being soaked in the solution. That is a whole lot of baked-on carbon. This is clearly the product of 1970s oil and leaded gasoline. Well, folks, this brings us to the end of our journey. If you enjoyed this method of piston renewal, or even if you thought it was ridiculous and stupid, please like and subscribe so we can continue to bring you even more of our stupid, crusty overhaul ideas.